Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Allied Command Transformation's annual Chiefs of Transformation Conference here in sunny Norfolk, Virginia. #1 gathering of Alliance transformation leaders. And every year there are a batch of young disruptors, and some of those young disruptors are here to help the Alliance think differently of a series of problems. Bence Szabo is a Hungarian Defence Forces desk officer. You're 30, so it puts you a little bit older in the terms of the Disruptor band. Fredrik Löfgren, Swedish, is with Linköping University. You work with Saab, which is, of course, the country's great aerospace manufacturer, but you're also sell robots as well as unmanned systems to the company and to Swedish Defence Forces, which I think is fascinating. And you're 27 and you are 21. Nicole Davis Valencia is with Virginia Wesleyan University, and you're a young disruptor as well. So let me start with you. What got you into this mess in the first place?
Well, I'm a political science major, so my political science professor told me about NATO a couple months ago. I knew about the organization, but there was an opening for an opportunity for a DTAG conference last month, so I attended to that. That led here, and well, here we are, trying to shake up how things are.
Exactly. And tell us a little bit about Fredrik, about disrupting, because you're trying to do that while you're at school, while you're working with Saab, and while you're running your own business, which should mean plenty of free time on the weekends.
No, I work all the time, and I don't have time for any girlfriends. My robots are my friends. But I also have some human employees doing robotics for me, and I work at the university researching in artificial intelligence and robotics.
That's fantastic. And Bence, what brings you to this gang?
Actually, I'm a veteran of the Young Disruptors. I attended COTC last year when this whole initiative started. So now I'm here again. Yeah, I have 2 years of experience right now. For us, it's very important to be here just to gather the new ideas. And actually, I'm here to offer some new ideas, but I'm here also to gather new ideas from the young disruptors. So I give, I take, and what I take I will try to bring home and invest it in our own system.
So what do you guys think I mean, the point of it is disruption. Increasingly, it's a disruptive time, whether you're a great power and you're trying to disrupt the order, for example, like Russia, trying to use, whether it's social media tools or even envision use of military forces in different ways, or to hybrid or gray zone warfare. What do you think are the key ways of disrupting, especially generationally, given that you guys have a fundamentally different approach both to technology, both to the social media space and other sort of elements of this competition that maybe some of the people who are in positions of command don't have? And let me start with you, Nicole.
I think one of the key elements is closing that gap between the military and the civilian world, having NATO reach out to younger communities, try to teach them younger what NATO is about, and that way when these young adults become coders, they are very into AI and all of these technologies, they will choose to invest all that knowledge into NATO rather than going other sides. So having NATO invest in young communities, close that military gap, teach the knowledge and spread the message around and change their ways, kind of adapt to the more modern times is one of the keys.
Fredrik?
Yeah, we talk about tech and gadgets and things, but we also need to think about the culture and change how people think about the gadgets, and how we can change the way we are thinking in the organization and have shorter time frames when we do decisions and so on. And also, I think a very important key is to educate people, to spread the word about NATO and what NATO is doing to kids and primary schools and so on.
By the way, and it's worth pointing out, right? Obviously, Sweden is not a NATO member.
No.
Is a proud EU member and had the EU presidency a couple of years ago, but not a NATO member. So I think it's interesting that a partner nation of the Atlantic Alliance, is here. And your background is?
I'm with Virginia Wesleyan University. I'm a political science major.
Yes, I know that. But national background, American?
I'm from Colombia, from South America.
Ah, okay. So you can be South American as well, and obviously no clear NATO expansion plans. Whereas you're the only one from actually a NATO nation, from Hungary.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just realized it that I'm the only one who's from officially a member state. So about your question,
Yeah.
I agree with my fellow young disruptors. I think that when everything is changing so fast, and they predict that it will change even faster, it's really important to gather the young minds and the young professionals and start investing in them, because now the changing mind, some people speak about changing mindsets, but actually it's easier to gather people, young people, who you don't have to change their mindset. I mean, because they already have this new mindset, and educate them and kind of use them to drive innovation and keep the alliance's technological and human edge.
What service were you in? Because you said you're a veteran.
I said I'm a veteran of the Young Disruptors.
Okay. All right, I got it. I didn't know whether or not you were like former Hungarian Army or something.
No.
So that's why I was going to give you a shout out, and you could say like, "Hey, go Hungarian Army!" Beat those Air Force guys, or beat Navy. Right? It's the Army-Navy game. Is going on soon. May the better team win. What do you guys? How do you guys think that this program is going to help each of you? As you said, Bence, you're looking at what you're taking out of it, but also what you're going to put back into it, and that's some of the lessons learned. And I remember you from last year, right? Because the DSACT was talking about the importance of the Young Disruptor program then. What do you guys hope to get out of it, and in turn be able to then pass along to a new generation of disruptors next year?
Well, hopefully have more acceptance in new ideas. Don't be so closed off to different opinions, different approaches. Also, the idea of having more representation, more diversification in who joins this organization, who is part of this, whose voices are heard. Introduce younger people, women, people of color, have just more representation overall, and be able to expand our minds and have a more open mind about what NATO is about and what we can actually achieve.
I hope I can sell some autonomous weapon systems to NATO and more AI. But I also will give insights back to the Swedish Army Force, because we have a long partnership with NATO and we have a tight collaboration.
You really are a new startup company, because every opportunity, ABS, always be selling. Otherwise, they won't be buying. Well done. What's your company's name, by the way?
Dyno Robotics.
Dyno Robotics.
Check it out.
Check it out, exactly. For anybody interested in investment capital, Fredrik is more than happy to respond to you. And as a veteran of the program, getting the context right now, how has it really helped you at the end of the day?
It helped me because now I have new ideas from my fellow young disruptors. Now I know what the Alliance is doing right now, and what are the aims of the Alliance. And now I can take all of these, and also the lessons learned and the best practices from other member states, and I hope we can incorporate it back at Hungary.
And let me ask you one last question, right? Everybody, it's great that the program was launched, but at the end of the day, it only matters and is effective if senior leaders are actually listening to you. You guys have been involved in panel after panel, in syndicate after syndicate, which are meetings here, the side meetings that are closed. Do you guys feel like senior leaders are listening to your guys' opinions and what you guys have to offer?
For the most part, I feel like they have been pretty open with our opinions, with our insights. Sometimes when you push a little more of the different ideas, it's a little harder to get it through. But, we're young, we're used to it. So we just keep pushing.
That's right. You're young, you're used to it, and arguing is not something that would be alien to anybody young, or it's not a problem, or old people either.
I agree. They listen for most times, but sometimes it's harder, and many older men like to listen to their own voice and listen to how good they are on this stuff.
I think they are actually listening. I mean, the fact that we are here and the fact that I'm here for the second year, it shows that they are kind of interested in our opinions. So I think yes.
And what do you guys think is, so last two questions, what do you think are the biggest challenges that need addressing, right? I mean, what are, from your standpoint, the problems that need solving from where you're sitting and the brief introduction each one of you have had to the Alliance?
I think the speed to which the Alliance can react to situations, like we've mentioned before, things change so fast. Now a single tweet can change the entire geopolitical situation. And so how fast can the Alliance react and all the countries get together to tackle a situation? And also how fast and can we adapt to the new mentality that innovation requires?
I think the biggest challenge is overclassification of documents. Because if you keep everything secret, all your problems secret, no external help can be given. We as startups can't help you with a problem that is secret. And when we eventually have a solution, you will take that solution and make it classified documents. So I think we need more openness, more transparency.
I think we need to keep up with the challenges, and I think the biggest challenge is not just to keep up with the new threats, but just to be ahead of them, to be able to plan forward and to plan ahead before things happen. I think this is the biggest challenge, and speed is essential.
And so so I'm going to go the other way around, because I was going to ask this as a follow-up question, but I didn't want to disrupt the conversation. So what do you guys think is the keys to speed? How do you, if you were king for a day or queen for a day or empress for a day or whatever you want to call it, how would you drive it? Like, what are the keys to speed and what's the best way to drive it?
Actually, I think decision-making, the speed of decision-making is very important, and you can use AI, artificial intelligence, to speed up decision-making. It doesn't, you don't have to use AI to make decisions just to enhance your own decision-making capabilities. What I mean is just, have the AI pick from 1,000 or 1,000,000 options, 3 or 4, the most optimal ones, but let the human, let the commander, let the leader decide which he uses. But I think it can really speed up decision-making process.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Our human brain isn't that fast, and with AI we can make the process much faster. And the AI doesn't need to say the final word. It can just give us recommendations.
Following that principle, the integration of this new technology, the integration of this new mindset, I think will be the key to getting this technology actually on board and being put into action. So integrating the new people, integrating the new mindset, integrating the new technology.
Let me ask you a specific thing, since you're in the AI, autonomy, and robotics field. There is this, how democratizing is this technology? Because for the longest time, I mean, obviously the United States and major powers were doing that investment, whereas now you find artificial intelligence, whether it's coming out of Sweden, whether it's coming out of small countries like Armenia, for example. I was recently there for the World Congress on Information Technology, and it was stunning the degree of sophistication of some of these technologies. How democratized, I mean, what do senior leaders have to know about the technology, about its capability, and how proliferated it is?
Yeah, and you're missing that they also need to know about the risks and the problems, not only the possibilities. And we have problems with AIs being like a black box. You feed it with data and you get some recommendations out. So now we need to investigate more into explainable AI. The algorithms should be able to explain the reasoning behind the decisions so we can justify if it's wrong or right.
To increase trust at the end of it.
Yes, we need trustable AI, and we need trust in the AI, and it's important that we feed the AI with correct data or data that reflects the world as we want it to be.
And how game-changing is AI? Because there are some people who are saying, well, that it's overrated, right? That it's seen as a solution to everything, whereas it really is only as good as the question you feed into the AI, right? What's the right way to think about it?
I think it will be game-changing, but not today. And many products on the market today, they say, oh, we have AI in this toothbrush. And it's like bullshit. So we need to not overestimate it now. We don't want the hype like the IT bubble crash. So we need like thinking in 10 years, 20 years, and it will be a game changer. And it will not only answer the questions we feed it with, because we are developing self-learning algorithms, machine learning, and that kind of algorithms will take more conclusions by themselves as well.
Fredrik Löfgren, who is a roboticist, he's associated with Linköping University with Saab and his own company, which is?
Dyno Robotics.
Dyno Robotics. How many people work at Dyno Robotics?
We are 10 people now.
Wow. Well, you clearly,
we are growing rapidly.
Yeah, well, get to work. I mean, you should be growing that bigger. Nicole Davis Valencia, who's a young disruptor from Virginia Wesleyan University, originally from Columbia, 21. Fredrik is 27 and clearly underachieving. All of you are underachieving. I'm kidding. And Bence Szabo, who's a desk officer with the Hungarian Defence Forces and a two-time defense disruptor who's back. Do you get like a belt or anything that you wear?
I hope not.
Guys, thanks very much. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and look forward to tracking your careers and seeing you as defense ministers someday running Saab. I guess Michael Johansson should be careful, or running major countries or organizations. Clearly, guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a tremendous holiday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.